Hello. I don't know if there's anybody out there yet. Let's see. How is everyone doing today? We still don't have the nice overlay, but this will do. I wish stuff didn't cost money. That would be ideal. Let's see if anybody shows up tonight. Let's see. It is 7:05 p.m. for me. Let's see. Who will be the first to say something? Hi, Susan, Dirty, Shelby. There's everyone. Hi, India. Today's kind of a weird day. Hi, Valley Girl. I just need to open up a little bit. I will probably cry, but no, I found out today that, I feel like I'm going to just tell you guys just because I don't feel like I can post anything on Facebook or really talk about it. And I know my family, but definitely my biological family doesn't follow me on YouTube, so nobody will see it. But I don't feel comfortable talking about it on social media that family might know. I found out today that my biological dad has cancer. He's in his 70s, I think. And I guess it's a few different kinds, bone, lung, and he has cirrhosis of the liver. So he's in the hospital right now, and they ran tests because I guess in order to come up with a treatment plan for cancer, they have to know where it started in the body, and they can't figure it out because there's so much cancer going on and there's so many different kinds and so much cancer in his body that they sent it to the Mayo Clinic, and the Mayo Clinic couldn't figure it out. So they're taking his samples and mailing it to California. And it's just kind of a difficult situation because I don't really know how to feel about the situation. I cried earlier for a little bit just because I think I was in shock. But my situation's a little different just because before I was born, my dad broke up with my mom, and he was not around at all. And I didn't even know that he was my dad until I was 16. My mom never told me because she didn't want me to treat my stepdad any differently. So I consider my stepdad my dad. But when I met him when I was 16, I thought we would have this hallmark moment, of reunification kind of, and that didn't happen. He didn't know who I was at first, and he sent me away. And then he knew who I was. But even after he found out that I wanted a relationship and where I was, and even though I visited him a few times, I would go up to visit him in Michigan, and he wouldn't want to hang out or whatever. And he's never really called me or anything. But I'm kind of I've always wanted this relationship with my dad, and I just feel bad that I might never have that opportunity because he's passing away, probably. I guess I heard from somebody that they probably gave him around a year, but it just sucks because what happens, I mean, if somebody doesn't want to have a relationship with somebody, that's fine, but it's just so many of my issues are linked to that, because this is my Hispanic side of the family. There's all these family members. I found out I had 2 sisters, and then I found out I had a 3rd sister in 2016. So I met them and all the family, but I was so young and a lost place when we met that I really took advantage of the situation. I was doing drugs and stuff, and I wasn't a very good person. So I made a bad impression and stuff. So that was between early 2000s, 2005 to 2009. So I didn't make a very good impression, and I always felt left out of that side of the family, even though they invited me to things and were friends on Facebook and stuff. But some people didn't even know I existed. Even as soon as 10 years ago, people were asking oh, are you so-and-so's daughter? So it's kind of weird. But a lot of my identity, I look Hispanic, so people treat me as though I'm Mexican. So when you have a complete disconnect from something that people use to identify you by the way you look, it's very weird because I don't speak Spanish. I didn't grow up in a Hispanic household. I don't have any connection with my family really. So it's just kind of hard to think that, you know, somebody that I wanted a relationship with for the longest time is passing away, and then I'm not going to have that opportunity to, like, I don't know. It's kind of a weird, I don't know if you guys get what I'm trying to say. It's kind of a weird, and then I even feel guilty about being sad because I feel like I'm guilty, like I'm sad for the wrong reasons, even though I am sad because he is my dad, but like I feel like I'm sad for the wrong reasons. And then I feel like people think that I'm upset just to, be in the mix. So I don't really want to like say anything on Facebook or like reach out or make any comments or anything, just because like I have made comments on my Facebook in the past about how I'm kind of resentful that my father never wanted to be my dad. So, and it might look lame if I say that I'm upset that he's passing away. So now I'm like kind of like in this weird spot. So, and then I'm like trying to like look at it from a different perspective. Like, I'm trying not to be resentful that he didn't want to be my dad because maybe he had stuff going on. Because I'm 34 and I'm fucked up and have a hard time parenting. So, like, I mean, what was his situation? I don't know. So I'm trying not to hold that kind of stuff against my parents anymore. So, like, I did call him today. We talked a little bit. I just told him that I loved him and that it would be okay. And that was kind of our conversation. So, I don't know. I kind of want to talk to him more. So I'm going to try to reach out, but it's just like he speaks English, but he speaks mostly Spanish. So, like, so sometimes it's hard to talk. So, yeah, it's been kind of weird. It's just kind of weird. Like I said earlier, like so much people look at somebody and they'll look at me and they'll be like, they're Mexican. So they feel like they can carve out like what my life has been like and like the kind of person that I am. But it's just like because that's the way that our world is, because it's completely normal. That's how people feel comfortable around meeting people, is categorizing them. So like I don't hold that against people, but it's just like people have those expectations of how I grow up and how I am as a person by the way that I look. And I'm complete disconnect from that. So a lot of my severe identity issues lead to that. So that it's like, I don't know. That's kind of a big thing. And I was very angry at my dad for the longest time because he was in my other sisters' lives and not mine. My other sisters are in like their 40s. My other sister is 50, I think. So, like, I'm definitely the baby of the family. So, I'm kind of like, I feel left out at times. And I've tried to go to some family functions, but like, I'm so different than everybody. Everybody grew up around everybody. Like my brother, I think he has like, is it like 6 or 7 brothers and sisters? Like everybody grew up in this big Mexican family dynamic, and that's like a lot of culture that I have no clue about. And I like missed out on all of that. And now I'm like, I feel disconnected from that side of the family. So it's kind of a weird thing. Thank you for all the comments. I am reading them. I'm just kind of talking. So, like, I went home from work today because I was kind of shocked at the whole situation. So now, like, I took a nap. I ate too much candy. I bought something that I couldn't afford. I'm just like, I don't know how to handle this stress and this depression now. I'm like, I don't know. I want to go visit him, but I know COVID will probably make that difficult. It just sucks. It just sucks. And plus, like, I think like cancer, like I've lost so many people to cancer since COVID started. I lost my aunt. I lost a really close friend, Jeff. And then I'm losing my dad. And then two very close, more family, they're considered family. They're more than family friends. 2 close family members have got diagnosed with cancer. And it's just like, oh, and then I lost my best friend, but not to cancer, but I've lost so many people over 3 years. It's just like, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what if I should try to reach out to him more. Or maybe he just doesn't want to be reached out. Or, like, should I tell him that, like, if he is passing away, should I tell him it's okay that, like, he wasn't in my life? Like, do you think he's regretful? Should I even mention something like that? I don't know. I don't know what I should do. It's kind of a weird situation. More of a shocker today than anything. I went home from work early. I couldn't handle it just because it was like so many different emotions at once. Oh, yeah, I lost my grandfather to cancer too, and that was a difficult situation because I found out at 20, like, my grandfather did some very, very horrible things. And finding out that somebody that was like your dad is a monster in your late 20s is kind of a mind fuck. So, I don't know. I guess, like, I just have a lot of things to work through. It's so complicated. God, cancer sucks, man. I'm even wearing a shirt for my friend Max who has cancer right now. I guess I'll just try to stay focused. Hi, Martina. So it makes me sad because, like, that's one of my parents is going to be dead probably from this. So it's just like, I already feel alone in the world. Not that the relationship was that significant, but it's just like I feel like more and more people are leaving my circle of, like, acquaintances and friends and family, and that maybe down the road I'm going to be regretful that I ever thought I was alone until I really am completely alone. I don't know. This is just a tough fuck situation. So, I mean, I told my aunt to tell my dad that he can call me whenever he feels lonely. So we'll see if he takes the opportunity to call me. Yeah, I'm going to need some therapy. A lot of my identity issues are stemmed to my father. So, a lot of them. Because, like, when I met my dad, like, when I found out I had a different dad, I called somebody that had the same last name in the phone book. Well, no, my mom told me, I think one of your cousins works at the police station. Why don't you call and talk to him? So I called the police station and asked him and said, so and so is my dad. He's like, yeah, that's my cousin. Here's his address. Don't let him know that I gave it to you. So then I had one of my friends from after school. She drove me to his house, and I went to his house. I was like 16. And I knocked on his door, and he said, who are you? I'm like, oh, I'm Ashley, so-and-so's daughter. And he's like, you're not my kid. So he's like, you're probably my brother's kid. So my dad and his brother live right next to each other. So I walked over to his brother's house and I said the same thing. He's like, no, you're not my kid. You're definitely his kid. So I walked back to the house and he came out. He's like, oh yeah, you are my kid. Like, he didn't even remember. And every time I would visit him, I probably visited him less than 10 times my whole life. He would be like pretending like, oh, mija, all this and this. And he would give me money. So I felt like people thought that I would just go to see him to get money, which wasn't true. He just gave me money every time. So, like, I don't know. I remember, like, it didn't go like I thought it would. Like, I asked him to come to my high school graduation, and he told me, like, I didn't go to your sister's. Why should I go to yours? Kind of thing. So, like, I don't know. And he always told, so, like, after that huge identity shock, I got into Japanese culture when I was in high school. And since people said I wasn't white at school because I was Mexican, and there was no Mexicans around except me. And then when I met Mexicans in real life, they said I wasn't Mexican, I was white. And it's just like no side wanted me. I was like, oh, well, there's no Japanese people around. I'm really into Japanese culture and stuff online. I'll just be Japanese. And then I finally do stuff in school with it. And, like, I tried so much to be around Japanese people, made a lot of friends, and I work at a Japanese office, and the Japanese treat me like, oh, you're not Japanese, you're mixed, but you'll never be Japanese. Then it's kind of like a big triangle of rejection. No, it's not harsh, Renee. It's just, I know. So, yeah, there's a little story. I'm gonna try to work through this. Trying to process. Hi, Jessica. Sorry I didn't say hi to everyone. I'm kind of like dealing with, my, for those who just came and found out that my biological dad has cancer. And like my stepdad, I consider my dad, but like after him and my mom divorced, like I would go over to his house. There would be pictures of my brother up, and like even to this day, if I go to his house, even though he's remarried, there's pictures of my brother up, but they took all the pictures of me down. It's like I never even existed. So it's like I struggle with my identity and my past and people wanting me around. That's where a lot of my issues come from with rejection, and that's why I come on so strong to want to be friends with people. And I have such abandonment issues. So like my dad, which is my stepdad, uh I consider him my dad, but then it's just like with him, it's just kind of like he's not a very, emotional, hugging, I say I love you person. But like after he got remarried, he started calling me his stepdaughter, which has never happened. And like I said, all of the pictures, any of my artwork from when I was younger, anything that had anything to do with me completely disappeared from the house with my mother. It's kind of a weird situation. So it's kind of like, where do I go from here? Where does my emotions go from here? Where do I belong? Yeah, it does stereotype Valley Girl. So if you guys ever wonder why I have such abandonment / identity issues, or that's, I don't know, that's kind of like why I go to the Japanese scene, because that's where I find a lot of comfort is in the culture and the history. And I read stories about people in the history, and I get connected to artists through their music, and I feel like I understand them, and they're like, I'm like the same person. So like when you immerse yourself in a culture, you start to think that you belong in that culture. And then when you have people say, well, you're not Japanese, obviously, that kind of hurts too. I don't know. Kind of a whole hodgepodge. Sorry, I kind of went on a rant. So like, hi, Arena Blood. Oh no, my biological dad, I found out, has cancer. So I cried most of my tears out earlier, but it just brings up a whole hodgepodge of emotions. So we're going to see how this goes. Hopefully my car is all right so I can go to visit him in a few weeks. I just don't know what I want to say. Because it's hard for me and my dad, my biological dad, to connect, because we grew up in such different family dynamics, Hispanic and my family. Like he always asks me, why don't I speak Spanish? I'm like, why do you speak Japanese? Mija, you need to learn Spanish. You don't know what this is? This kind of thing. I don't know. I was just, oh, God, this is so much. But it feels better to rant, you guys. So thank you for listening. This is going to be a very short stream. I just wanted to say something. So if I seem like very offish or non-responsive lately, it's because I'm going through a depression streak. That's why. I have to try to not do anything stupid to make up for the depression, like shopping and overeating. So I think I'm just going to get some rest tonight. So I just want to thank you everyone for listening. No, Jessica, I was not very close to my biological dad. No, I've talked to my biological. I've seen him maybe like 10 times in 34 years. So 10 times in 34 years. I only have one picture of us together. I don't even know where it is. He came to my first birthday and that was it. And there was no more. My mom told me that every time we moved, she would give him our address and number, and he never reached out. But my mom never told me about him until I found out on my own, just because she didn't want me to treat my new dad any differently, which was true, because the first time me and my new dad got in an argument after I found out I had that he wasn't my real dad. The first thing I said to him was, "You're not my real dad. I don't need to listen to you anyways." And that was the most hurtful thing I've ever said to anybody. But I'm gonna go. I need to go to bed, relax, take all this in. But thank you everyone for listening. I love everybody. I'm gonna try to work on the video probably to take my mind off things. I need to come out with a plan instead of just jumping right on and trying to get stuff together. So, but I love everyone. Have a good day, and hopefully I'll talk to you maybe on Wednesday or Thursday. So you guys have a good one. Bye. Thank you for listening. Bye.